High in the spine of the world, carved between storm and stone, dwells the tribe of Orgha'tor, those who carry the bones. They are warriors born of mountain blood and memory. Among them, strength is not only muscle or blade, but how well one endures the weight of the dead. And none carried that weight more heavily than Gralvek Thulgar. On the night Gralvek was born, the veil between life and death did not hold. The hearthfire burned blue, shadows twisted, and an elder fell where he stood. With shaky words said,
"The child is marked, born under an open veil."
When her mother, Dorna Stone Marrow, looked into her newborn's eyes, she saw not one set of eyes, but two. For a fleeting moment, something vast and ancient peered back through her daughter. Dorna froze. Her breath caught as the air thickened, the walls groaning as if under some invisible weight. Then she did what no one else dared. She met that other gaze head-on. Her jaw tightened. She leaned forward, pressing her forehead gently to her child's, a warrior's vow in silence. Her fingers traced the infant's cheek, not in fear, but defiance.
Whatever it is, she'll learn to conquer it.
From that night on, the spirits followed Gralvek. Some whispered, some laughed, some merely watched, waiting for her to understand what she truly was. When Gralvek was still young, war came to the mountains. The orcs of Zulkar poured through the passes like a black tide. Dorna led the defense, fierce, unstoppable, her blade flashing like lightning against the storm. She bought the tribe's survival with her life. They never recovered her body, nor the bodies of the others who fell beside her. The tribe mourned, honored their names with stone and song, and turned their eyes back to survival. But Gralvek still felt her mother's presence, not weeping, but roaring through the veil, a war cry that echoed whenever the wind rose. In Orgha'tor tradition, every youth must face a trial when they come of age, a right to prove their worth to the tribe and the ancestors. Most choose the trial of the blade or the hunt. Gralvek chose the resting trial, the path of the dead. It is an ancient ordeal few dare take, to journey alone to a battlefield of the fallen, find a restless spirit, salt and burn the remains, and speak its name to grant peace. She chose it to honor her father and to release her mother. Alone she climbed the haunted valley of Zulkar, where bones still whispered beneath the ash. But the spirits there did not rest. The instant Gralvek stepped upon that cursed ground, they felt her. An open soul, marked since birth by the hollow guest, the silent watcher that had lingered within her since her first breath. The dead surged toward her. Hundreds of voices clawed for release, desperate to be heard. They poured into her, filling every breath, every thought. The pressure crushed her body, and she fell into the dust, her mind collapsing under the weight of so many souls. Vakun, warden of the forgotten. Far above, in the stone sanctum of Raven Rock, Vakun Thulgar felt it, a tearing in the veil, like the world itself had drawn a breath it could not exhale. Vakun was no common warrior. He was a mourning blade, a bone seer, spirit walker, and keeper of rites long abandoned by most of his kin. To the tribe he was eccentric, to the spirits he was their voice. The dead whispered to him as easily as the living spoke his name. He had served the dead goddess Kuliak his entire life, preserving her forgotten rites, and through her teachings he knew what such a rift meant. He had always feared his daughter's open veil would draw something ancient, something that even Kuliak herself had no power to calm. Now he knew that day had come. Guided by ancestral whispers, he descended the mountain through snow and shadow. The air grew colder with each step until he reached the ruins of Zulkar. There he found Gralvek, motionless amid a storm of unseen spirits, her life fading like a candle in the wind. He could not exorcise them. There were too many, and her open soul had become their refuge. To force them out would kill her, to let them stay would destroy her mind. So Vakun made the only choice left. He drew a blade of obsidian carved with the symbols of the dead goddess and performed the binding rite. He carved an anchor into her chest and whispered to the ancestors for strength, offering part of his own life force to stabilize hers.
You do not bear bones. You bear voices, and they are ours to carry.
The ritual sealed her fate, half in the living world, half among the dead. The spirits quieted, tethered to her soul, and for the first time since her birth, the hollow guest was still. When Gralvek awoke, she was changed. She could feel the dead of Keg Zulkar clinging to her like shadows. The ancestors murmured softly in her thoughts, and deep within her, the hollow guest stirred, satisfied, for it had found a vessel strong enough to endure it. Peace never came. The hollow guest lingered, silent, patient, waiting. It pressed against Gralvek's soul like the weight of a storm she could not escape, and when she ignored its pull, it answered with wrath. The beast came at dusk, a white shadow moving through the snow. A polar bear, far from its frozen lands, eyes black with something unnatural. Its breath steamed in the cold air like smoke from the veil itself. It had not come to feed, it had come for her. The creature struck with terrifying purpose. Its claws tore through her shoulder, its jaws crushed her arm. The spirits within her screamed, but none could interfere. The hollow guest had sent this beast, and they dared not defy it. This was punishment, a reminder. Gralvek fought because she refused to die on her knees. With her last strength, she drove her blade beneath the bear's jaw. The beast shuddered, groaned, and fell beside her in the snow. Both killer and killed, bound by the same unseen hand. When Vakun found her, she was half buried in crimson snow, her lifeblood, steaming in the cold. He carried her home through the storm and tended her wounds in silence. For 3 days, she drifted between worlds, the hollow guest whispering on one side, her ancestors weeping on the other. When she finally woke, her father was beside the fire, carving something from the bear's remains. From its teeth, he made a necklace, a talisman to bind strength to survival. He tied it around her neck and met her eyes with a gaze both proud and hollow.
The hollow guest sent this creature, daughter. It does not seek peace. It seeks purpose. And though we do not yet know what that purpose is, it has chosen you to find it.
And so Gralvek Thulgar left her home, not in exile but in calling. She walks the thin edge between life and death, guided by the restless, burdened by a purpose not her own. The Bonebearer of Orgha'tor, the daughter of the open veil,